Good morning folks, and welcome to this video of a garden full of large leaved shade loving plants. Expect to see oodles of aroids, bromeliads, tree ferns and many other individual rarities. Join me today for our visit to the shaded paradise at the Royal Flora Rajapruek, Thailand. If you're new to the channel, I'm Rachel from Douentza Garden in Ireland, and last year I was lucky enough to visit the beautiful Chiang Mai in Thailand. This video is the third I've made about the Royal Flora Rajapruek, an amazing park originally created for a world-class horticultural exhibition in honour of the then King of Thailand. I'd like to encourage you to check out my other two videos about this park. The first is about the Orchid Pavilion and the second is a more general video about the park featuring its 30 international show gardens. Links to these videos are at the end of this one, but also in the video description down below, so don't miss them. The shaded paradise at Royal Park Rajapruek is a covered space designed to house the more than 200 varieties of tropical and semi-tropical foliage plants in the park's collection. A paved walkway snakes through this shade garden, allowing visitors to get a proper look at the selection of plants here, right up close and personal. Many of the species grown here are from lowland and montane rainforests and montane cloud forests. The garden showcases both natural species and man-made hybrids. The concept of a shade garden is an interesting one. I first encountered it at the Estufa Fria in Lisbon many years ago. I suppose my concept of a greenhouse is tainted by what greenhouses need to do in colder climates like mine. They need primarily to keep the heat in and the rain off. A cold greenhouse, on the other hand, not to be confused with a cold frame incidentally, is a structure that provides plants with shade from the sun, but also allows good air circulation and sometimes even rain through. In a tropical country like Thailand, it is a very welcome space to visit in the heat of the day. This space contains many aroids. Plants in the Aroids family are colloquially known as Aroids. Although flowering plants, they are generally known for their fabulous leaves, and many would be familiar to us as houseplants. You may recognise certain common genera straight up: Anthurium, Epipremnum, Monstera, Philodendron, Colocasia and Xanthodesia. The Aroids family is vast and most diverse in the New World tropics, although it can also be found in the Old World tropics. Plants we see today, however, do not necessarily come from Asia because, like any good botanic garden, the Royal Flora Rajapruek does not limit itself to what can be found locally. If an aroid is in flower, it is easy to identify. Flowers are born on a type of inflorescence called a spadix. The spadix is usually accompanied by, and sometimes particularly enclosed in, a spathe or leaf-like bract. A spadix, by the way, is a spike of minute flowers closely arranged round a fleshy axis, just like the vibrant red ones we see in this clip here. If not in flower, many aroids can be identified by their leaves. Perhaps the most recognisable leaf type is the sagittate one. Such plants have arrowhead-shaped leaves and include Colocasia and Xanthosoma. Plants tend to be swamp-dwelling or live in deeply shaded places. The leaf shape channels water away from the petiole base. Another common leaf type is fenestrated leaves, as seen in the ever-popular Monstera deliciosa and Rhaphidophora. natural leaf perforations reduce wind drag and allow dappled light to reach lower canopy layers, which is especially useful in climbing species. With peltate leaves, like certain anthuriums, the petiole connects to the underside of the leaf blade, not the edge. This architecture helps suspend the leaf horizontally and improves water runoff in rainy habitats. Finally, many aroids, such as philodendrons, have deeply lobed leaves. But beware of false friends, because leaf complexity often changes with maturity or environment. A process called heteroblasty means that leaves may experience a dramatic shapeshift between their juvenile and mature forms, becoming more lobed or divided in their climbing or mature phase. In this case, young plants may look entirely different from the species that they are. One plant that really struck me here was the variegated tree crinum or grand crinum. I grow the purple version at home in the greenhouse during the summer and in the house in the winter. It's a very quick growing and reliable flowering plant for me, so it's great to see that there's also a lovely variegated form. I'll link at the end of this video to my video on growing this plant in case you're interested. I'd also like to remind you that if you enjoy my content, please do subscribe to the channel. All likes, comments and subscriptions help me continue bringing you videos like this. Thanks for your continued support. Another plant to point out is this palm tree, the licuala. This palm has leaves which are mostly circular in outline, sometimes undivided, but more usually divided into wedge-shaped segments. It is indigenous to this part of the world and quite fabulous. There are also various hybrid Colocasias in here. Colocasia esculente is a food crop in this part of the world, as you probably know, where the tuber is eaten like a potato. But no one could eat these beauties. I'm not sure of the ID here because there was no label, but this one may be Colocasia waikiki or white lava. And this dusky beauty might be mojito. We are now coming to the end of this video visit to the shaded paradise at Rajapruek. I hope you enjoyed it and that it might encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I do have a number of other videos from Thailand and Borneo to share with you this winter, so I hope you look forward to those. In the meantime, stay warm and happy growing.